These are the questions on the SAT algebra with two variables. Question number one. So you have they provide you the graph and the answer choice A, B, C, D. And the question is what system of linear equation is represented by the light show? So right, I'm going to show you, excuse me, how to find answers uh, using algebraically and also using decimals for the new digital SAT for 25 and 24. And from now on, you are allowed to use decimals graphing calculator. So I'm not only going to show you how to do this by hand, I'm also going to show you how to find the answer using decimals. Um, so right now, the intersect, um, where's my thing? Okay. So the intersects, okay. Right now, the intersection between two straight lines is at 8, 0. That means x equal to 8 and y equal to 0. So now you want to plug the numbers in, okay? Each of the answer choice. For example, again, I'm not going to plug in every single uh, choices, plug in a field to see what is it. Okay, so for example, I'm going to choose choice A because right now I don't know what the answers is. So I'm going to do 8 times 8 plus 4 times 0. I want to see if it's equal to 32. So 8 times 8 64 plus 0. Is this 32? No. Okay. And then I'm going to move on to the B, do multi-choice B. So I'm going to do same thing. So be 8 times 8. Okay. Minus 4 times 0. Is this equal to 32? No. Again. Okay. C. I have 4 times 8 minus 10 times 0. Is this equal to 32? Yes. Now, but we also need to test the second equations because this is the system equations. So the answer so the answers for the entire system has to satisfy both of the equations. So I'm going to use the second equation now. So negative 8 times 8 plus 10 times 0. That's going to be negative 64. Is negative 64 equal to 32? The answer is no. So the entire system, so the A, B, C, we know is wrong. So let's see if D is right. Okay. So 4 times 8 plus 10 times 0, it is 32. So that's the check. That's yes. And then negative 8 times 8 minus 10 times 0. Again, every time I do multiplication, I use the bracket. Okay. So I know that it's not the minus or plus. Is this equals negative 64? The answer is yes. So we know that the correct answer, Joy, is D. Okay. So how do we use Desmos graphic calculator? So again, if you start with picking the first answer choice, and you wouldn't worry about all this uh, plug in and check for the answers. So you have Desmos, and uh, um, let's say that we don't know what the answer is. Okay, you plug the numbers in, but now I know the answer is D. So I want to see if it's D. Okay, so what you have to do is you're gonna plug the numbers in. So you're gonna put 4x plus 10y equal 32. Okay, then now you want to move on to the second equation. You're gonna put negative 8x minus 10y equal negative 64. So now it is, okay? So that's what the intersection is. Now this graph look exactly the same graph they was on the question, so we know D is right. So using decimals again, we because we already know the answer is D, so I jump right into the to that equation and graph it using decimals. But if you don't know what the answer is, you start with B, C, D, and obviously you want to see the graph is not the one that they gave it to you. Okay. We're moving on to question number. Uh, Next question. So they give you the system equation. They say that the solution of the given system equation is x and y. What is the values of ax plus 3y? Okay. Now to do this by hand, if you can see, you say, okay, there's ax there, there's 7y there. Okay. So we want to know those two. So there's a cool ways to do this. So what about I'm going to replace the AX to be maybe a, 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 a P, a capital P, and then 7Y with the capital Q. Okay. So now I'm going to do 2P plus 4Q equal 12. Then, so now the same thing is the question asking what is P plus Q? So now on the bottom, I would have 2YP plus 4Q equal 12. So now I need to solve for P plus a Q. Now, if you notice this, no, it's equal to 12. Now, if you have noticed this, that is, if I'm adding this 2, okay, I'm adding this 2, I can solve it for P and Q. So like this, 2P and minus 2P, you cancel it out. 4Q plus 4Q, I get 8Q. And this give me equal 24. And now Q is the 3. Okay, 24 divided by 3. So when Q is 3, I'm going to plug the Q equal to 3 in either one of this equation to get P. So using Q equal to 3, I'm going to plug the numbers in 2P plus 4. Make sure again you use the bracket for multiplications. So you don't even have to use the dot. You don't have to never use the little x because you're going to get confused with the variable x. Is equal to 12. So now you have to write the original equation. Now solve for this. So 4 times 3 is 12. I'm going to minus 12 on both sides. Got 2P equal to 0, P equal to 0. So now you got P equal to 0 and Q equal to 3. Then P plus Q equals 3. 0 plus 3 or 3 plus 0. The answer is 3. Next questions. So they want to find the line J, which is perpendicular to the line K. Given what is the slope of J? So to recall, the perpendicular mean you making a 90-degree with another line. That's what perpendicular is. So basis on the line K, okay, basis on this, we have the slope is negative 17 over 3. So to recall that linear equation y equal mx plus b. M is the slope. B is the y-intercept. Okay, y and x are two variable, dependent and independent variable of the equation. Now, when it's perpendicular, so if it's perpendicular to this line, the slope of line J is 3 over 17. So when it's perpendicular, you're going to flip the number and you switch the side of the original equation slope. We call the opposite sides reciprocal. Okay. Um, Here we go. So moving on. So now we know what the slope is. So now we're just gonna oh, that's it. That's all I asked. I thought you were gonna ask you what's the equation of like J. We done. Okay. So they didn't even ask for to find the equation, so it's easy. So let's read the questions. Okay. So now you have two different packages, 100 pound and 120 pound. But the helicopter must carry at least 10 packets. So what about we set up our equation because there are two different packets, so we know that we're going to use two different variables. So what about we set up, or we can call whatever we want, or we can set up or to let x to be something, or we just say it, let x to be 100 pound packet. I'm just gonna abbreviate that packet. I'm missing something there, but that's fine. And y to be 120 pound packet. Okay. So we have two different packets with two different variables. They must carry at least 10 packages. So we know that x plus y at least. So we want to be more than 10. At least. Okay, so I mean 10 or more. At least. The total weight of the packages can be at most 1,100 pounds. Okay, so we're gonna have the numbers of the packet for 100 pound packet. The maximum numbers. What is the maximum number of 120 pound packet? So they basically asking you what the y is. Okay, so we know that. Now let's set up at most. What at most mean? At most mean you have to be less or equal to 100, 1,000, and 100 pound. So let's fill this one in, and then I'll explain it to you. So y here. They put leave some space there. So because they're asking you for the weight, so each of an X packet is 100 pound. Each of the Y packet is 120 pound. You cannot carry more than 1,100 pound. So now we're going to use decimals. So we can solve this system equation. This will be a problem. Okay. But we can use decimals. Uh, let's see what we got. So we put x plus, why is the plus? I need to move this out of the way. Okay, so the decimal shape for us as well. So the shaded, that's what we want. Okay, but we have two different equations, so we need to plug in using both. Okay, so as you can see, what is the intersection? 5. Okay. The maximum, because if you carry in more, then it can be overweight. So you can see right there the intersection between those two. See if anything that less than 5, the region, that shaded region, doesn't meet, and if you carry more, it's overlapping. So the answer is C, 5. Okay, so we can do this. We can plug the numbers in as well, and let's see if it works like that. Okay, so we can do this by hand if we say that, because again they want the maximum numbers of 120. That means each of this is y equal to 4, y equal to 5, and y equal to 6. So each of the answer choice is the values of the y. So if we're using each of this, let's say y equal to 2. Okay, so let's use y equal to 2. When you plug the numbers in, what do we get? We get x plus 2 greater than 10 minus 2 on both sides, x greater equal to 8. Now on the bottom, if y equal to 2, we would get 100x plus 240, because 120 times 2, so 240 less than 1100. So we minus 240, so 1100 minus 2, 860. So then we bring down 100x, we divide by 100, x less or equal than 8.6. So look at the answers for this. One say x needs to be greater than 8. And the other equation say x needs to be less than 8.6. Okay, so we can't find any x like that. Okay, all right, so we can do the same thing with the other one, and you will get the same answer, that y needs to be equal to 5. So if you keep going, y equal to 5, and then you solve it. So let's say that y equal to 5. Then similar, x has to be greater than 5. Okay, and then 100x plus 120 times 5 would be 600. 600 you minus from 1,000, 100, you get 100x less or equal to 500. Divide both sides by 100, x less or equal to 5. And look at that. X needs to be greater or equal to 5, and x needs to be less or equal to 5. X needs to be equal to 5. That's the only choice. So y equal to 5, x equal to 5. Okay. So we were given a table, and then also the y-intercept is k minus 5 and b. K and b are constants. What is the values of b? So at any time you have the question with linear equations with 2 points are given, think about the slope. Okay, think about the slope. So I'm going to write the formulas here. Is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this can be my x1, y1. Okay, this is going to be my x2, y2 from the table. So I'm going to find the slope. So it would be negative 15 minus 13 on the bottom, k plus 7 minus k. Now k, so on the top would be negative 28. K and minus k cancel out. I have 7 left on the bottom. Negative 28 minus 7 is negative 4. And now, but they also give you the y-intercept. So if you think about what the y-intercept is, so y-intercept is a point on the line. And also if for any line, I'm just going to draw a random line to explain it to you. So this line has the negative slope. So um, at any line, if you take any 2 points on the line, they're always going to have the same slope. So you were using the 2 points from the graph. Now you were given the y-intercept, which is that point right here. But you can use one of the 2 points from the table to find, and then they're going to have the same slope. Then you can use in that point, in the point that given to you, plus the slope that you just found, and you can solve for that equation. So I'm going to find the slope m again by using the y-intercept and the x1 and y1 from the table. So this is going to be my x2 and y2 here. Okay, so that's my new point x2, y2. And I'm still going to use x1, y1, which is k15. So I'm going to get b minus 13 over k minus 5 minus k. So b minus 13, there's not much we can do about that. K minus k cancel out. On the bottom, we have negative 5. And now, like I stated earlier, the slope is the same everywhere on a straight line. So since we have the negative 4, which is the slope that we found earlier, we can bring it down and make this slope equal negative 4. So now we solve for b from these two equations. And we have b minus 13. So I'm going to multiply with the negative 5. Negative 5 in the bottom cancel out. So b minus 13 equal negative 4 times negative 5, positive 20. And plus 13 on both sides, b equal 33. So they give you one equation, but then they say one of the two equations in the systems. So there is another equation that combined with this given equation, make it a system linear equations, it has no solutions. Which equation could be the second equation to the system? So think about two straight lines. When you have two straight lines intersect, that's one point, it has one solution. If it's overlapping, you have infinitely many solutions. Infinite solutions. Okay, and what happens if you have two lines parallel? It has no solution. So there are three cases. So what we are looking for? We are looking for the equation that parallel to the equation that was given to us. So how do we know that two equations parallel? When they have the same slope, okay, and different y-intercepts. So when two straight line parallel, they need to have the same slope. So let's figure it out. So if you have 3x equal 36y minus 45, so we need to get the y equal to mx plus b. So this is what we want. Okay, that's what we want. So now I'm just gonna move the 35 to the left by adding 35, and I'm just gonna turn the equation around. Okay, so we kind of used to see y to the left. And of course, I want to write it in order. And then if you notice that all the coefficients divisible by, we can divide everything by 36, right? To get y. So here we go, y 3 over 36, x plus 45 over 36. So 1 over 36 is 112. 45 simplified by 36 is 9. And we get plus here, not equal 5 over 4. 5, 5, 4. So now the slope is 112. So we are looking for the equation that have the slope at 112. Okay, for a, what do we get? If we divide it by 4, we got y equal to 1 over 4x. So this is no. They have to have the same slope. B, we divide everything by 4 and flip it around, so the y equal to 112 x. So it is. So that's it. That's the one. But let's go a little bit further to make sure that we didn't get anything. Got everything there. So we flip that around. We're gonna get y equal 1 over 12 plus 15 over 12. So simplify this by 3. We're missing the x. So we got 1 over 12x. We simplified it by 3, 5, 4. So look at the answer C, the choice C. They have the same slope. But what happened? The y-intercept exactly the same. The 5, 4. This is the y-intercept we're talking about. Okay? This is the y-intercept. This is the y-intercept. And the entire equation is exactly the same. So when they're exactly the same, what happened to the graph? They are overlapping. That means they have infinitely many solutions. So we cannot choose choice A, we cannot choose C. Let's go over B one more, see what we got. So we divide by 12, we got y equal to 1 over 36. So as you can see, it's already off. So 15 and then plus 15 over 12. So the slope 1 over the 6 is not 112. That's not what we're looking for. So D also is wrong. So the answer is B. So on decimals, if we want to see if we use decimals, first we want to put the original equation. So we put 3x equal 36y minus 45, and let's put b is 1 over 3. Move this onto the side, and then we put the x equal 4y. Here we go. The blue and the red as parallel. They never intersect. So that's no solution. Right? Now what happened if we want to see why C is not a solution? So don't be happy to say, hey, they have exactly the same slope there. Which choice should I use? They have exactly the same 5/4. So I like, okay, that's just the one that matching. No, it's not. Okay. We want the equation to have the same slope, but not the same equation. If you put the C inside, you're going to see the overlapping. Okay, I want to show it to you. So that's my helpful to some of other SAT questions. And you can see it's overlapping with the red. It's on the top of the red. So they have infinitely many solutions. Next question. We have a system equation. They ask you to find the values of y. First, let's do it by hand. So I have negative x plus y equal negative 3.5. And on the bottom, I have x plus 3y equal 9.5. Now, many students, as soon as they see the system equation, the only thing that they remember is substitution. The substitutions, to me, that is the more challenging one to solve the system equations. So you should have done not don't use a substitution. Okay, we can use addition or subtractions method to solve for the system equation. You get it's quicker, it's easier. So but keep in mind the coefficient need to be exactly the same or the opposite. For this one, the coefficient for the first equation is for the x coefficients for the x is -1. The coefficients for the x on the bottom is 1. So those two coefficients are the opposite. So what I do? I'm adding them together. So negative x and x is gone. Y, 1y plus 3y is 4y. I'm adding those two decimal, but just be careful, there's a minus side here. So I'm adding the positive and the negative number. Basically, I'm subtracting. So it's equal to 6. So that's y equals 6 over 4. If you simplified it a little bit better, you get 3 over 2, which is 1.5 or 1/2. Now on the decimals, you can graph this by doing negative x plus y equal negative 3.5. Now you have the graph. Now you have graph this. All right. So let's see what solution here. There it is, 1.5. Remember, they only answer the values of the y, so be careful. Don't just give them the x, which is 5. You're going to get the wrong answers. The people grading this, they have answer key. When answer key wrong, you're going to get the answers wrong. You're going to mark this wrong. So here you have a system equations. What is the values of x? They want x. So you can write this 1 over 2, y equal to 4, x minus negative half y equal to 2. So every time you have a system equation, try the best you can to set up the equal sign, um, line up the equal sign straight down, then you will see, and also rearrange the equation so you have an x lined up with the x, and a y variable lined up with the y variable, and then the equal sign. So right now, you can do the substitutions, but like I mentioned earlier, substitution is not the good method. It's very long. You can see you have fractions. It's gonna give you some trouble. You're gonna make mistakes along the way. So if you notice is that I have a half, 1/2 y, and I have a negative 1/2 of y. Those two coefficients are opposite. They're exactly the same, but opposite sides. So here I'm going to add them up together, straight down vertically. X negative one, negative 1/2 x, and positive 1/2 x. I cancel it out. So x equal to 6. I'm done. Quick, easy. On this problem, they give you the equations ax plus ky equal to 6 and two given points on the equation. They want to know what is the values of k. So now we want to turn the equation ax plus ky equal to 6. So we need to write this equation into y equal mx plus b. So don't forget b is the slope. So I'm going to minus ax on both sides, and I'm also rearrange my equations so I can keep my ax in front of the 6. So I have ky equal minus ax plus 6. And I divide both sides by k. So negative a over k. I put the x on the side. Make sure you divide k to every terms of the right hand side when you divide it. So now the negative a over k. This is also the slope. So now let's find the slope from two given points. So we use y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You can name x1, y1, x2, y2 by using any of these two. So I'm going to plug the numbers in, negative 6. Now make sure you keep the minus sign in between y2 and y1, and also on the bottom between x2 and x1. And keep the number, you plug the numbers in. A lot of people make mistake when they see a minus and then they somehow that minus sign disappear. So negative and a minus in front of the 3 turning into a positive 3, so it'll be negative 3 over negative 2. That's equal to 3 over 2. So same thing as now we have negative a over k equal to 3 over 2. So there's two choices for k, or two choices for a, because of the negative side. So because negative side, we can keep it with the letter A, or we can move it to the bottom of the letter K. If you look at the answer choices, we have -2 and also is 2. So we know it have to be between A and C. So B and D never been a choice. So now let's say if we say that if k equal to, let's say k equal to 2. If k equal to 2, then what is the y-intercept? Then y-intercept is 6 over 2, which is 3. What happens if k equal -2? What is the y-intercept? 6 divided by -2 is -3. So the answers of the y-intercept needs to be equal to a -3, because as we can see that uh, when we have the um, the given point 0 and -3, this 0 -3, it needs to be one of the point, which is one of the points. So -3. This is the -3 is came from the y-intercept. It have to be came from the point 1 0 0 -3. So this needs to be the answer, because if we choose k equal to 2, then the y-intercept is 3, and we don't have those 2 points from the questions. So the answer is k equal -2. So this question, so at the end, we have two different choices, but then we have to look to see what point were given to us before we can decide which is the correct k. Next problem, we have the system of equations. Look very complicated with three different letters, x, y, and p. And they asking what is the values of p. So p is a constant. So again, we want to write this system equation back into this linear equations form, because if it's a system of the equations and they have no solution, if and only if it's parallel. And different x-intercept, different y-intercept of it. So how we prove the two lines are parallels? They have to have the same slope. So that's the way that we should go for it. So let's go for it. The first equations, we're gonna solve for y. So we have 3 over 2 y minus 1 over 4 x equal 2 over 3 minus 3 over 2 y. So we have letter y on the left, we have letter y on the right. I'm going to add 3 over 2 to the left, then that 3 over 2 would be added onto the left hand side. So I'm adding those two. I'm going to have 6 over 2 y, and I'm going to minus 1 over x. So that x actually going to be move it to the right. Equal positive 1 over 4x. And of course, I want to move my 2/3 back here. That is my y-intercept. Now, 6 over 2 is 3. Then I'm going to divide it by 3. So y equal to 1 over 12 x plus 2 over 9. So again, I had a 3, and then I just divided between by 3. Okay, so I have a 3y here, and then I divide between by 3. That 3 is cancelled out. So the 3 is on the bottom of the right hand side. Now let's move on to the second equation. So I have 1 over half 1 over half x plus 3 over 2 minus py plus 9 over 2. So I'm going to move 9 over 2 from the right to the left by minus 9 over 2. So minus 9 over 2 combined with 3 over 2 will give me negative 6 over 2. So I'm going to get 1 over 2x minus 6 over 2 and then equal py. Now at this point I want to flip the whole thing. And then I'm going to get py equal. So flip the left to the right, right to the left. And then minus 3. So I'm going to divide the p, both sides of the equations. The p cancel out. And the p is going to be on the bottom of this equation. Then I'm going to get, let's move this a little bit here. Okay, so I'm going to divide both sides by the p. So y equal to 1 over 2p x minus 3 over p. Now so in order for, when we talking about system equations, the solutions for one equation also is the solution for the other equation. So if we have the y equal to y and we have the slope that have no solutions, then the slope needs to be the same. Okay, so that's just a few things about the system equation you need to keep in mind. So now if you compare the this x need to be I didn't mean to write x down here. I mean the x would be right there. Okay, so you see that now I have the slope for the first equation is 1 over 12, and then the slope for the second equation is 1 over 2p. And because we talk about they have no solutions, mean that they need to have the same slope. So and then we're going to have 1 over 12 equal to 1 over 2 times p. So the only p here is if p equal to 6, because 2 times 6 is 12. So we want to make sure that if p equal to 6, it's not going to give you the same y-intercept, okay? So the y-intercept for this is, 2 over 9. With p equal to 6, then the y-intercept for this would be negative 3 over 6 versus negative 1/2. So those two numbers, excuse me. So those two y-intercepts are not the same. Okay, so those two y-intercepts right here, this two number is not the same. So the answer is p equal to 6.